Welcome back to another episode on the Aaron Doughty podcast. My name is Aaron Doughty, and today's episode is going to be on magnetic love attraction. How to create such magnetic energy that everywhere you go, things just throw themselves at you. People are just like, here you go, and they just throw themselves because you have such magnetic energy. Now, let me just start off this episode by saying one of the most popular videos on my channel, the most popular topic on my YouTube channel is specifically on attracting love. The top meditation is on like this meditation will attract love, or like the most powerful meditation for attracting love into your life. It has over 3 million views and hundreds and hundreds of comments in there, by the way, of people saying they attracted love from starting to do that meditation. It's so cool for me to go through and just read. I'm like, wow. And you know what I think it is? I think it's a mixture of two things. I think first off, people believe they will attract that love because they're reading comments and like so many comments of people saying that, so it increases the belief factor. The other aspect of it, though, is the focus of the meditation is focusing in on the heart and focusing in on self-love, because when you are in self-love, you then have more magnetic energy. So a lot of attracting love into your life is specifically on how much love can you feel for yourself, and as you feel love for yourself, you get a natural reflection in life of somebody else that can then love you. And beyond just that meditation, I have like 3 or 4 videos that are on stop chasing love and instead do this. And then the title or in the thumbnail says, they will chase you. And of course, everyone, when I first made a couple of those thumbnails, make them chase you, it was so random that I even put that in there. I had no idea that a big part of YouTube videos getting viewed a lot is thumbnails and having a catchy like open loop inside the thumbnail itself. And I had no idea those videos are going to do so well. They did so well. Like I have 2 or 3 videos with almost 1 million views with that kind of title, that there's like now hundreds of videos on YouTube, because once people saw my channel it was doing well, like so many other YouTubers did the whole like let them make them chase you type thing. And I think the other part of that is people want people to chase them. Maybe some people are tired of doing the chasing and they want other people to chase them. Now here's the problem with the whole chasing idea. If you want someone to chase you in regards to like you wanting to attract love into your life, then what that really means is you want them to feel and to have an activated wound that then they feel needy and codependent, so that then they chase you. Because somebody that was actually secure in themselves wouldn't really chase someone else. They'd more so want to, it'd be like a joint collaboration. Yes, in general, there's one person in a love dynamic that's holding more of the frame than someone else. And sometimes that can be maybe a polarity thing that could be possibly beneficial in some ways when it comes to the attraction, because think of it like a magnet. There's different polar sides and it attracts love. But in general, this whole idea of chasing love, like, why don't we redefine this whole chasing love thing? And chasing love would normally mean an activated wound, and activating someone's wound and having them chase you. What if instead of chasing love, what if it was more about being so magnetic that you just bring everything that's in vibrational resonance to you? But it doesn't have to be a needy type love, like someone's chasing you because they need you. It's like somebody just prefers to kind of follow you, not in a creepy way. They just kind of follow you because they know that they gravitate to your energy. So the primary focus of this episode is developing magnetic energy that attracts love easier than anything else. And I think when some people watch my videos or listen to my podcast, part of it I think is because of my own energy. I'm not trying to be cocky and be like, everyone wants my vibe or anything. But I think one thing that I've done from making so many YouTube videos, and a lot of it's like me getting into a certain state and allowing this information to come through, but I think that I've figured out how to have magnetic energy to where people feel that vibe and then they want to be around it. And when you do that, it's an amazing thing that does attract things to you. It attracts money, love, success, seems to come to you when you're in this high vibe state. Another word for magnetism could be, I think part of it is polarity in some ways. It is having a certain sense of polarity. But the other side of that is being in a high vibe state. When you're in a high vibe state, people will naturally just kind of draw to your energy. Recently, you probably heard me talk about this in a couple other episodes, but I went out with some friends, one of them being Rebecca, who I did another podcast on, which is on Attract Your Dream Man. She's going to be on another episode soon too. We went out recently and we went into public and we did these challenges. And part of these challenges, we're doing very embarrassing things. Like I proposed to an artichoke in the middle of Whole Foods, gave a whole minute-long speech, and then got on my knee and asked for this artichoke to marry me, and people thought I was crazy. Then I had to convince 2 people that I lost my purple ferret. I couldn't find it in a grocery store, and I had to have them help me find it, and I did that. Yeah, it's like these challenges that really expand the sense of identity and what I feel comfortable with. And the interesting thing about it is by stepping into the unknown, it like really raised our vibration. And when we were in a high vibe state, no matter where we went on this challenge, because we had 2 hours to do as many of these crazy things as possible, it was incredible because so many people were magnetized to our energy. There was an aliveness to it. So part of you being attractive and having magnetic energy is how alive are you? Are you passionate about what you're doing? Are you passionate about how you're showing up in the world? Are you on your purpose? Are you on your mission? These are all things that will go into you having magnetic energy. Now, before I get too much into this episode, there's something else that I do that helps me have magnetic energy. Maybe some of you have heard me talk about it before, but something called greens. I make sure that every single day I get my greens in. What does greens mean? It means that it has to do with like the vegetable servings that you get, having the nutrients in that. You know, the world we live in, sometimes we may have some vegetables. You know what I was told, I was talking to my buddy Drew yesterday. He says that any day that there's like produce in the refrigerator, every day that it's in there, somebody told us that 50% of the nutrients die out every day. I don't know if that's true, but that's kind of crazy, right? Well, I heard that and I was like, man, good thing we got greens. Greens is this powder that I take every single day that I find gives me and helps me with my energy, keeping it very consistent. Many of you know I don't drink coffee. I don't do caffeine. However, I do take Organifi greens, which is a simple, like 1 scoop a day of this green powder. It gets many servings of vegetables, has to do with energy, has to do with other things. They also have a reds as well, which I find to be very powerful. But the green specifically is what I'm focusing on today, sharing with you because I use it pretty much every single day. I do it pre-workout before I go work out. It helps with energy. I normally will take it in the morning once I break my fast. After I do this, I just got up. I'm going to go break my fast and do that. But it's a way that I have consistent energy, which helps with having magnetic energy. And it's a way that I get in all the nutrients I need for the day. It's completely organic, very high vibe supplement, high vibe, something to put into your body to help you with your energy. So if you want, many of you know my buddy Drew owns the company Organifi, and we live in this house together. And it's kind of cool that we have all this Organifi around. One thing he's doing for my audience as well is giving everybody 15% off if you go to Organifi.com/Aaron. So it's ORGANIFI.com, COM/Aaron, AARON. There's a code at the top you put in. You get 15% off. You could try Organifi Greens. There's also the protein powder, the reds. The chocolate gold is for at night, the Organifi Gold. It's amazing. So anyways, I'm a big fan of Organifi, not just because my buddy Drew owns the company, but because I just really enjoy taking it. I find it very high vibe. So go to Organifi.com/Aaron. Get 15% off by applying the code at the top of that page. Other than that, let's get into this episode, right? Meow. Welcome back to another episode on the Aaron Doughty podcast. That was a very quick intro, and here we are again. Or that was a long intro, actually. It wasn't really going to be an intro. I was just going to kind of like flow into, normally I do the intros before or after I film the main podcast. This time though, it's like 2 seconds ago I did that little kind of intro thing. But anyways, magnetic love attraction. Now, what goes into having magnetic energy? Now, I think part of this will depend a little bit on the masculine and the feminine as well, because maybe what makes a feminine person attractive versus a masculine may be a little bit different. So we may have to kind of like cross look at both of these as well. I would say that for the masculine, and just in general, one of the most important things that has to come with having magnetic energy that it easily attracts love and has people chase you metaphorically, but not in a needy way. They just want to be around your energy, is you being, first off, not needy. So one of the most important things, if you are showing up and you really need someone else, it's cool if you want and you have a preference to be around them because you like them, but if you need them, if you literally feel like you are not whole unless they are acting, giving you validation, or being a certain way, then what you'll find is that results in an energy that then kind of puts the other person on a pedestal energetically. Anything you put on a pedestal is going to be, and even when I say want, it's okay to want. I mean, wanting means lack. Wanting means lack. It's funny. I had this this person I used to work with, this old coworker. I worked with her at Nordstrom's. And what she noticed is that anytime she was single, guys wouldn't hit on her very often. And I think one of the reasons is because when she was single, she really wanted to be in a relationship. And maybe part of her didn't really feel completely whole and complete without being in that relationship. However, something very interesting happened. She'd be single for like a year, then she would get into a relationship. And in that relationship, within literally days, she'd start getting hit on by so many guys. She says it's crazy, the difference between how many guys hit on her when she's not in a relationship versus in a relationship. So when she's in a relationship, what I think is happening is she is then in the vibration of having love, of feeling validated and worthy, feeling sexy. And then what happens is these other guys that don't know she has a boyfriend, or maybe they do and they don't care, but then they're hitting on her like 10 times as much. She literally said like nobody, I haven't been hit on in months. And then she got a boyfriend or got serious with the guy, and literally like 10 times in a week she get hit on. Why is that? Because the vibration of her has changed. Maybe she's given herself more permission to feel love, to feel worthy, to feel validated, and then she's emanating that energy from the inside out, and then people feel it. Now, of course, the goal here is not to need an actual relationship to feel love, because it's kind of like once you're in a relationship, unless you're in an open relationship, then it doesn't necessarily serve you because you're not really going to act on that. So the interesting thing about this is, can you get to a vibration of being in that love prior to having the outer reality reflect that back to you? And if you did that, would you then be in a magnetic energy to where then more and more people just attracted to you? I found in my own life, the more that I am unattached from outcome, the more I am just being myself for the sake of being myself, and doing it also unapologetically, the more attractive I appear to other people. And I think that that's an important thing to really show here, because the person that is leading the frame is the one that is normally the less needy. So the one that is leading the frame, that is holding the frame, is the one that is that needs the other person less than the other. Now, what if you had two people that were secure in themselves? What if you had two people that did not feel needy, but were already whole and complete, and they wanted to just explore, and they just found themselves magnetized to each other? See, that's what I think is healthy. Needing implies lack. Needing implies less than wholeness. And that's a lot of times when wound-on-wound action happens. Wound on wound. Somebody may have a masculine wound, the other one may have a feminine wound, or vice versa, and they're working through those wounds, and the wounds attracts the other person. Maybe like somebody didn't get a lot of attention from their dad growing up. And maybe this person finds that he or she then attracts a partner that doesn't give them that much attention. Why are they so attracted to this person? Well, maybe part of it is because it's a familiar pattern of that masculine or that feminine energy is just not paying attention to them, and that's what they seek. You see, so these things are underneath the surface, but once you bring them into the light, then you become aware of them, then you start to become more powerful. So having magnetic energy is in direct proportion to how you can let go of needing, because you're already whole and complete. That's one of the most important parts of this process of having magnetic energy. You already whole. You can. It's also about, and that applies to either feminine or masculine. Now, of course, it's okay to put yourself out there in a way and tell someone that you like them or that you want to be around them more, but I think the part that it's when it's like a yearning. I need you for validation. So that, I'd say, is one of the more important things. Now, another thing that I want to put your attention on is passion. Are you doing what you are passionate about? My energy became 10 times more magnetic once I started doing my passion. Once I started making daily videos, and now this is also very, very, very important for the masculine. The masculine must be on their purpose, must be on their journey, their hero's journey. And the problem is that you get a lot of maybe, whether it's female or male, everyone has both masculine and feminine energy inside of them. But a lot of times what will happen is, and especially the masculine, sometimes the guys will get into a relationship, or the masculine will get into a relationship, and then put the purpose to the side to then make the relationship the focal point. The feminine actually doesn't want that. The feminine feels more safe with the masculine on the purpose, so that then they can relax in that. Otherwise, then a masculinity comes up within the feminine and says, oh, I need to take care of things. I need to be on the purpose to make sure we're safe. So one of the most important things you can do if you're the masculine listening to this, or you're more, they're like that's your energy polarity, is focus on your purpose. Are you doing what you love for a living? Are you going out and creating an ideal lifestyle for yourself? Creating life on your own terms. Some women are attracted to people, or, masculine, feminine energies, whatever. That doesn't have to be male or female or any of that. I know there's different sexual orientations. But when you look at this, like, when people are in a box, a lot of times they're very limited. They're not very alive. Now, there are some people out there that like that. They're attracted to that because that's what maybe helps them feel safe. Maybe that's what they learned growing up. But I will say that if you want magnetic energy, you need to not be inside a little box. You need to challenge your belief systems. You need to go out into the world and do things that you maybe thought you weren't able to do before, and start to just have the intention of doing things that maybe even scare you a little bit. I started making daily videos on YouTube, and within a short period of time, my channel started to grow. Of course, then I have more attention on me, but the thing that really, I think, wired it into my identity is my willpower. And I think that was definitely attractive to different people. As having something I want, that I want to go for, that I went for, that I then made out of nothing. Working that 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes. It's almost like that hero's journey I went on, I think, creates a certain level of magnetism. Because then people see, oh, this is someone that goes out into the world and gets what they want. Doesn't accept the norm. And that can then be in that kind, like, be very alive. As I started making more and more YouTube videos, I started to feel more and more alive. Then I started to travel, which I absolutely love doing. And then that made me feel more alive too. So one of the most, even if you're a feminine, in the feminine energy as well, be on your purpose. Be the star of your own movie. If you are trying to be the cameo in someone else's movie, they can feel that energy. Be the star of your own movie. Doesn't mean you can't support someone else. There's nothing wrong with that. There's some people that's the energy dynamic, that's the sexual polarity. But do it from a place of you knowing your own worth. It's not what you do, but it's how you do what you do. If you're doing it from a place of I'm seeking your validation, I don't feel worthy, whole and complete, then it's a different energy. But if you're doing it from I feel great, this feels natural, this feels good for me to do. So the other part of this is, especially if you're in the masculine energies, to make sure you're on your purpose. Make sure you're creating an ideal lifestyle. Make sure you're not putting the relationship before your purpose, so that then the feminine can feel safe. And if you're the feminine listening to this, you still have masculine energy inside of you. I think it's a time on the planet of especially the empowered feminine, which means going after what you're passionate about. You do it in a more flowy way normally, though, in the feminine energy. The masculine, like the way that I am, is I'm very willpower. This is what I'm going to do. There's an end point to everything. The feminine, though, is more about being. It's more about being in flow. That's what's attractive, especially. We talk about sexual polarity. When women are in their feminine, they're in the flow. That can be very sexy, especially to the masculine. When women are, women don't necessarily think, not women, just the feminine doesn't necessarily think in endpoint focus. Like, but do this, and doesn't plan it out. The masculine likes to plan stuff out. But the key to this is being aware of this dynamic. Now, another thing that is very important is knowing what you want. When it comes to attracting love, just in general, I mean, magnetic energy, there's a couple other things that I'm going to talk about. But know what you want. I realized that for a period of time, I was talking to my friend Rebecca, who does this for a living. You'll see the podcast coming out soon if it's not out already. She was talking to me, and she's like, well, what do you want, Aaron? And I remember thinking about it. It's like, well, what do I want? Well, I want someone that's more nurturing, which means I have to nurture myself, right? Someone that's very feminine. That's something I was very, she was making me aware of what I want. And I realized that when she asked the question, I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't know what I did want. And it was a good point, because how can you get what you want if you don't know what you want? So I want to ask you this question right now. What do you want? Now, want means lack. I know that. But what is your intention? What is the focus? Because unless you know that, you're not going to know when it comes to you. You're not going to know. Like, it's almost like the universe doesn't know what to bring towards you. But what do you think would complement your energy very well? And as you start to ask these questions, what will happen is you're going to start to see that there's a more clear vision. There's a more clear energy around this, that then you can actually attract that to you. You're going to know when you see it in somebody else. So when you see those different characteristics, you're going to be able to delineate and kind of like see it. So knowing what to have magnetic energy just in general, when it comes to attracting love at all, know what you actually want. Now, it doesn't have to, you can be as specific as you want or not as specific. And I recommend that you look at characteristics here. You're not like he or she needs to be exactly this appearance, look this way, this color eyes, this color hair. Go based on energy. We're all energetic beings. That's what, when we talk about attraction and having magnetic energy, it has almost zero to do with looks. It has to do with energy. How is this person showing up in the world? Is this person doing what they love? Are they very alive? Do they make me feel alive by me being around them? Are they in their own frame of reality? Do I feel safe in that frame? These are all different things that have to do with energy. And I've known people before. I knew this one guy I used to work with. And not being judgmental at all, but people would question and be like, how does this guy date this kind of woman? He would date some of the most like beautiful women you've ever seen. And looking at him, most people judge him and be like, I don't see how this is possible. And even me, I was like, dang, dude, like I didn't think you were like, of course that's looks, so that's superficial. I understand that. But the interesting thing about it is it was his energy. He was so confident. It was energy that really attracted people to him. It's energy. That's all it is. If you focus on your energy and being very comfortable with your own energy and also developing an authenticity, I think women, masculine or feminine, I know I'm attracted to very authentic people. So authenticity is very important. Focus on being authentic, on being you, expressing yourself, not holding yourself back, not trying to get other people to like you. Focus on that. And as you focus on that, guess what's going to happen? You're going to show up at the world in a very powerful way. People are going to be very magnetized to you. So authenticity is also something that's very important. But focus on your energy. That's if you commit to your energy and focus on being alive, get out of your comfort zone too. Like last week when I said I went, a couple days ago, 5-6 days ago, when I went to the store and I did all those crazy things, I felt so alive and it really expanded my sense of identity. Now, we talked about some of the superficial things with this. And one other thing I'll add is tonality. The tonality, the way you show up in the world. When you guys notice I speak in a very dynamic way. I use my voice in a certain way that I think people enjoy listening to, because it's not like I'm talking to like this the whole time. Like, hey guys, this is how I'm talking. My voice is very monotone, and let's see how much, you can feel the energy in this. When I speak with a certain flow, a certain dynamic, and tonality can be very attractive as well. Energy is literally carried through that of tonality. It's sound. Sound is vibration. So if you want to develop more attractive tonality by practicing dynamic tonality instead of the monotone stuff. And you'll find that then as you speak that way, you will start to feel more of that energy move within you. You notice sometimes I use my hands a lot. Movement creates energy. Remember, attractiveness, having magnetic energy is specifically about energy, which you move that energy. It's a higher vibrational thing, and then people can feel that. So the stuff I've talked about so far, a little bit more on the surface. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. The thing that I also recommend you do is to do masculine and feminine healing within you. Do you have a masculine wound? Do you have a feminine wound? Now, what is a masculine and feminine wound? Certain times in our past, we have been modeled feminine and masculine energy from our parents. And what happens is sometimes we relate to that in a certain way to where we may then have a wound, something that's unhealed, a meaning, something that's happened that makes us feel a certain way about the feminine or the masculine. Mine was having a very masculine female in my life of my ex-stepmom who was very controlling, manipulative, and abusive. That caused me to view and relate to the feminine in a way to where it's almost like I was like, I don't want to ever commit because I don't want that loss of freedom. I was like, oh, I never want to get married. I've realized since then that that's kind of like a belief, like I'm letting go of that idea of commitment. The feminine wound as well was I kept attracting women into my life that were reflecting back my ex-stepmom, even after my ex-stepmom left when I was 16 years old when my dad divorced her. Never had to see her again, but I attracted a girlfriend in my life that was very similar, and then a manager that I was my manager for 3 or 4 years, same personality. That feminine wound, the way I thought that that's what I deserved. And I never really received that nurturing growing up. So because I didn't receive that nurturing, I think I crave it. But what I've had to learn is how to heal and how to give myself the nurturing I crave, how to love myself, how to go to the creek. And I always use yin energy for the creek, but I go to the creek and I just bask in that, receiving that energy of it's more feminine, being in nature, doing like making music, being in water. Those are all very yin things, giving myself the nurturing that I craved. On the masculine side, I realized even for myself, the masculine role model I have growing up is my dad. My dad's an amazing dad, but he's a super nice guy. And I had to learn the hard way with this because my dad wanted me to be a certain way, wanted me to go to college, and I said no. I made and created my own. After 2 years of college, I was like, this is not me. I want to own my own business. I want to, study this stuff because they didn't really have like legit college for like understanding metaphysics at the time. So I was like, this does not resonate with me. I want to do my own thing. I want to create my own path. I want to still be like a millionaire, successful, like this idea of what I wanted to be, and it wasn't gonna happen in the corporate mindset or like going to be the path that he wanted me. So I kind of had to rebel against that. Now, one thing that I also had to learn is how to embody that masculine energy within myself. I had to learn how to be on my own purpose, how to be leading in relationship with other women. I had to focus on not just doing that with my business, but on many different areas of my life. And I had to heal in that way. And since doing that, the energy, the sexual polarity is very different. Now, one of the most important things with this, though, is giving yourself permission to change, giving yourself permission to let go of the old. You see, in the old model, we think that our past equals our present. The issue with that is that then we're living in the past. We're living as the old version of us. Oh, in the past, I was this way, my dad was this way, or this is how I learned. But you can change. You're changing every moment. The cells in your body are constantly being like dying and reborn. You can redefine yourself right now. But part of the shadow work is you going into the shadow and becoming aware of how do I relate to feminine energy? How do I relate to masculine energy? How did my dad model masculine or feminine energy? How did my mom model masculine or feminine energy or motherly figure? And then start to heal that within yourself. As you become aware of this, that's where the transformation is. The awareness, because then you can start to be a new way. You can break the old pattern and just be the way that you prefer to be. The other thing that I want to talk about, so become aware of your story about attraction as well. Do you believe that you even have attractive energy? Which means, do you believe you're a high vibe person, really? Do you believe that you're very alive? And if you don't, then is your thoughts, emotions, and actions equal to a boring reality? A in-the-box reality, a 9-to-5 reality? The thing I encourage you to do is to break out of your box. Become more alive. Go do a challenge. Put yourself in an unknown situation. Magic is created in the unknown. And the other thing I want to talk to you about is becoming aware of the story you have around the feminine, the story you have around the masculine. And what do you think you deserve? What do you think you're worthy of? You used to have the story about the feminine being controlling and manipulative. You used to have a story about the masculine. These things, I've had to become aware of those stories and then let them go and develop new empowering stories. How do I show up within myself? The other thing with this is owning it. Owning your flaws. Owning who you are. Owning your choices. If you have a freckle, when you're embarrassed of this freckle, people feel what you feel. If you would just own your freckle, then other people would own it for you or own it with you. People feel what you feel. Own whatever you think your flaws are and feature them. They make you different. There's like an actress that used to have like a bigger nose, and she was told to get it fixed. But the nose made her look different, unique. She's still beautiful one way or the other, but this is what happened. She got the plastic surgery. Guess what happened? She ended up looking like a whole bunch of other models, and she never really got work again. If she would just own her nose. Who was that? I was talking to my friend Patty the other day. Who was that one? Sharon, I forget. There's this one lady that was told something similar. The mole. I forget her name. She had a mole. Anyways, she never got the mole removed like some of the directors told her or something like that. And she's had a wildly successful career, and she has like a product line of like cosmetics or something like that. But she's been around a long time too, where they say, oh, no, in Hollywood, you come and go, whatever. But when it comes to just owning it, if you just own your flaws, people will feel that off of you. It's very attractive. I got this like mustache right now. To some people, they may think it's kind of ridiculous. Guess what? I don't care what they think. I am doing and owning that which I have. To be honest, I think I'm going to shave this in a couple of days just because I feel like it's kind of getting annoying in my face. But I'm going to do it because I want to do it, not because anyone else wants me to. But I own it even while I have it right now. And people feel what you feel. So if you don't feel self-conscious because you realize you can just give yourself permission to feel 100% worthy, whole, and complete, then you're going to have very magnetic energy. But the key and the most important thing to this whole process that I'm talking about right now is understanding the stories you have about love, the stories even the Disney movies you watched growing up. The Disney movies we watched growing up, what they did is they had us believe, first off, that on the feminine side, you've got like the princess that's waiting for their Prince Charming. It's so many movies. And that once they have the Prince Charming, then they can live happily ever after. So on that side, it's like there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of feminine in the world that's like waiting for that prince to come. And if the prince isn't here yet, they're not feeling 100% whole, worthy, whole, and complete. And the problem with that is if they're not feeling 100% worthy, whole, and complete, they're then seeking that validation in someone else. And then they're not in the energy of feeling love already, which of course would attract love to them quicker than ever. On the masculine side, though, you've got the masculine model that we grew up watching on Disney is that the masculine had to conquer the demons and chase the feminine. Well, guess what that happened? Then literally masculine energy thinks that they have to chase the feminine. It's interesting though, back in the 1950s, the movies that came out, it was more of the feminine chasing the masculine. The only thing that I'll say about this is that back in the 50s, it's like a lot of the energy was on the masculine going to war and going off to war and then coming back. And then the feminine's like, honey, please don't go. Stay with me. But then the masculine would still have to go because that's their purpose. That's their mission. That was the idea, back in the 50s. If he would have stayed sometimes, I think many times, maybe the feminine wouldn't have actually respected him when it comes to sexual polarity. Unless if he did it because of the reason that the feminine told him not to. Not because he really didn't want to go in the army or whatever it was. You see, the energy changed with Disney because Disney started to brainwash people to believe that the energy dynamic was as a feminine, I need to wait till I have love, then I can live my happily ever after. On the masculine, I got to chase, conquer demons in order for me to finally be worthy of the feminine love. And what happens is then it's like these fragmented parts of all of us that then we're seeking in someone else. That then also causes needy energy on the masculine side a lot of times. That then has the feminine not necessarily respect as much. So it's a very interesting energy dynamic. But the thing that I encourage you to do is to say, screw it to all that energy. Screw it to all the stories of Disney. Let them all go. You're already whole and complete. As the masculine, get on your purpose. Do what you love. Be very alive. Create a cool, empowering lifestyle that then attracts people to you. Break out of your own box, your old sense of identity, the past, the stories that you tell yourself that you learned growing up. Own it, who you are. On the feminine, focus on you also embodying or accepting that you're already whole and complete. You don't need anyone else for you to feel 100% worthy, whole, and complete. Focus on, you could still be the star of your own movie as well. You still have masculine energy inside of you going after your purpose, after your mission. It's a very empowered time on the planet for the feminine. Focus on getting on your flow. Focus on being authentic. Focus on the aspects of yourself and healing the feminine or masculine wounds that you may have inside of yourself as well. Anybody listening to this right now can heal within just by making a choice to look at the shadow and then feel whatever comes up. But own who you are. Most of creating a magnetic energy is just increasing your energy. If you increase your energy, that will transform your life in a very powerful way. And the way you do that is by doing your passion, whether you're feminine or masculine. And the other thing I'll talk about as well for attraction is having fun, enjoying, having fun, being more playful, not so serious. That creates magnetic energy. If you're playful, if you're joking around, if you have a great sense of humor, you are so much more attractive. You put yourself out beyond that of many other people. Joke around more. Be playful. Be light. Don't be so serious like, oh, talk to this person. It needs to turn into this thing or this or whatever. No. Just be more in the moment. Be in the moment. As the masculine energy is one, is like also being present. The feminine is so attracted to presence. Not presence like gifts. That can come from a people-pleasing place. But presence as an energy. Being there. Listening. Holding the masculine energy even when the feminine storm is coming and they're feeling a lot of their emotions. And as you're grounded, that's very attractive. As the feminine, it's okay to have a lot of those emotions come up. It's okay to feel ungrounded sometimes too. Just own whatever you feel. One of the only reasons you feel like it's repelling someone else is because you believe you shouldn't be feeling it or you believe it's wrong. Whatever comes up, it's perfect. Allow yourself to feel it, but also have fun. The more fun you have, the more playful you are. It's also being flirtatious. It's very magnetic energy. It's very powerful. So focus more on that energy of you having fun, you enjoying yourself, you being playful, not so serious. You focus on your purpose, on your mission, on being authentically you, and you will develop extraordinarily powerful magnetic energy that people just can't resist. And then people will chase you if that's your desire. But maybe you just want to magnetize people that are already secure, and you're not attracting people based on their wounds. And you'll find that by you feeling 100% worthy, whole, and complete, you find somebody else that is also whole and complete. And then you can bang it out together or be together. But do it from a place of equality. So, anyways, I probably could have talked a little bit more about sexual polarity as well. Sexual polarity is important, and like healing the sexual polarity within yourself, like the different aspects, the feminine and the masculine wounds. But I think I have a whole podcast episode on that, or I'll have one come out soon. You let me know. If you did like this episode, could you do me a favor? And could you share it on Instagram stories or on Instagram and tag me, and I'll be reposting. And also, can you review this on iTunes? And if you don't have iTunes, find a friend that has iTunes and just review the podcast real quick. It really means the world to me. It helps the podcast grow. I'm putting a lot more energy into these podcasts nowadays. It's my primary focus. And I'm super excited to be sharing all this with you. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll talk to you another time. Peace. Much love.